Ladies and gentlemen, today we have with us Mr. Subhashish Chattopadhyay, who has had an illustrious career of teaching aspiring students for IIT JEE entrance in maths and physics since 1989. That's right, teaching for IIT JEE entrance for more than 35 years. His whole career is decorated with achievements in the field of education. He has been a visiting professor at the Bhabha Atomic Research Center's Center for Science and Education, is a lifetime member of IAPT, Indian Association of Physics Teachers, AMTI, Association of Mathematics Teachers of India, IACT, Indian Association of Chemistry Teachers, and he was the second unofficial national coordinator under whom India participated at the International Physics Olympiad in 1998. Currently, Mr. Subhashish is teaching at various coaching centers offering preparations for IIT JEE entrance exams. Some of his lectures are recorded and available online. I will leave the link to those and his profile in the description. But let's ask a few questions to Mr. Subhashish right away. So, Mr. Subhashish, during our conversations, you brought up a term, the strict science teacher. What do you mean by that? What are the subjects that you teach? And what motivated you to go into the profession of teaching, and that was specifically for IIT JEE?
Prashant, first, good morning, good day, and good day to all the viewers for being here. Let us start with good vibes. Today is International Daughters Day. So let us, just as we have so many days dedicated to something, we have Science Day as well. You asked me so many questions. Let me break them one by one because I think you asked me more than 6-7 questions. So just a few things to add what you said. I am also life member of IPA, that is Indian Physics Association, which is the highest physics body in India. Their magazine gives me very much details of the very cutting edge work that Indian scientists are doing. Indian scientists are doing a lot of work in the CERN, that is the particle reactor in Europe. Then we make a lot of instruments. We have a lot of international contribution. India is doing good actually. Indian scientists are collaborating for the fusion reactor as well. So I get those news from IPA journal. So, IPA was not there in the introduction. Maybe I missed it. Okay. There is another point which I want to say that this national camp for mathematics, physics, chemistry, official government of India Olympiad is held at Homi Bhabha Research, Science Education. I mean, HBC. So Homi Bhabha Center for Science Education, that is in Mankhurd. It is part of BARC campus only. Now, the teachers, the most prominent teachers in their fields, they visit HBCS, not exactly BARC, as just to get the details. While I will come to IIT JEE, I mean, I also teach chemistry. In fact, I made a very large number of videos where, many people had approached me for making videos for their websites. And I do well. So, I saw videos and made them. And I always requested them that if the videos that I make, can I keep a copy and give it to my students? Is that so? That was allowed. In a sense, made the video, they paid me for making the videos as well as I had the copies, which I'm allowed to give to people. That's the way the thing happened. So as we deep dive into the discussion, I want to, kind of pay my respect to the generals or the biggies of science. The first name comes as Ibn al-Haytham and Biruni. Ibn al-Haytham said that in the science, we should be very strict. So don't believe anything that is told to us. We should actually think, rethink, verify, re-verify, and then really believe it slowly. Just because somebody says something, don't jump into it. That is number one. So I really refer, Ibn al-Haytham is called as father of science. You can check. Biruni also told a lot of details of scientific methods. I mean, these names are not commonly known to the students of science, but that's okay. I really want to say things very positively. You will see the way I'm saying. Another thing what makes me a strict there I will be seeing, I have made a long list of names and certain points which I will be giving you as a PDF, which you can put it, people can download, because you see in different other talks where I have been attending, there were some very good talks in which there were many names coming up and very difficult for an audience to remember all the names. I mean, let us be good in communication. So, so many names, I will put them. Now, there are certain philosophers, and coincidentally, they are from South India. One is Dr. S.R. Ranganathan, a very prominent, very famous philosopher. Then you are Anantamurthy, and then you have Jiddu Krishnamurthy. He founded that Rishi Valley School near the Horsley Hills and all that. They all have said that a village science teacher cannot teach science for the whole day, and in the evening he goes back and does Rahu Kalam. A science teacher cannot have any superstition. When I call myself as a very strict science teacher, since my high school days, I have no superstition at all. I mean, this is self, these names of Dr. S.R. Ranganathan, U.R. Ananthamurthy, Jiddu Krishnamurthy, these are the names which I have learned once I've grown up. I mean, in my high school days, I didn't know these names. And these people have only helped and said the same thing which I have realized myself. Means I have been strict myself. So the strict point is that I am an atheist and I am a zero superstition person, which I tend to spread that to my students. There where it explains the point why I am strict. Coming to IIT JEE, I think I started with IIT JEE coaching in 1989, and today I may be teaching more than 20 subjects. And in several subjects, say, for example, I'll give you some random examples. For example, I was teaching application of psychology in the industry. These are corporate assignments. And in that, selected the best faculty. Then I taught C++ to 600 guys in Mohali. And then, out of 600 guys, 500, close to 500, more than 500 people gave me 5 out of 5. And that's tough. And maybe around 100 guys gave me 4. That's very nice. And then my average was 4.8. So because of such a high marking, or what I'll say, feedback, obviously the money paid not only as a best faculty, but whatever was the remuneration as per the company policy, it became 3 times. That was a hefty thing, because the remuneration somehow was designed much before the class. That so what I'm saying is that today I think if retrospectively I'll be teaching more than 20, and in several places people have been very happy taking my classes. I am known in many ways by some people. So did I answer all of them? Just see your questions once, and if I'm missing something, you have to help me with small questions, Prashant. I really help.
Sure, Professor. So you said that you don't have any superstitions. So you don't feel any special sensation if you see the number 7 or the number 13, or when Tendulkar was batting on 99, something like that?
Nothing, zero. Seriously, zero. Just to elaborate that, back in when I was in class 9, in those days, no internet, nothing, obviously, no PDF files as well. YouTube came only in 2007. So I was writing a book on atheism of my own, with whatever encyclopedias in those days, printed ones, I read. And I was very convinced. And as I talked to my friends, I was not happy with certain points, which that doesn't affect friendship. But while, I started writing a book. I mean, I was so convinced about atheism. It is much later in my life that I learned that Gautam Buddha was one of the first atheists, that is 2,400 years back. If you see in the Buddhist religion, which has spread so much up to Japan, they don't have any term for God. if you go to a Buddhist shrine or a temple, then there is no murti and it only says that Guru will show you the path. Buddham Saranam Gacchami, and I mean, I don't know those slokas. So I am just referring to the summary. Is that, the Guru will show you the path. I mean, you have to submit yourself to Guru and learning. There is no God. So Gautam Buddha was atheist. A lot of people don't love to know that. Then the initial atheists were Poincare, who found a lot of faults with Newton. I mean, Newton made multiple errors, and Poincare was one of the so-called modern atheists who told Napoleon, while in a conversation, saying that, the existence of God is just not needed. So Poincare's perturbation theory is yet used for our satellite navigation systems and calculating so many things in astronomy for the position of our moons and planets. This that goes on. Then the life becomes much easier, which is often I stay in South India, so I meet South Indians more than North Indians nowadays. So when I tell them that C.V. Raman was an atheist, close to 100% people hear it first time from me. That's not the. I mean, you don't have to just now search the net. Obviously, I'm saying you can check it back. I mean, I know what I'm saying, and n number of people have checked it after listening to me. Now, you see the top-notch people. I mean, I don't have to refer only to Einstein or Feynman and many. I mean, if in the internet there are many things on atheism. I will say the last point in atheism because I don't want to talk about atheism anymore. We have this Aurobindo, Rishi Aurobindo, as we call him. Now, once I was discussing some philosophy with someone, and that what was Aurobindo's contribution? I mean, we know his name, but then it is a very difficult question that what exactly Rishi Aurobindo contributed. So after a lot of searching, one thing came up that he predicted the density of atheists will increase over time. See, the population is increasing. So there would be a time when population becomes 3 times. So the number of atheists, if is 3 times, then the density doesn't change. Rishi Aurobindo actually said, he didn't use the word density nor the atheist or whatever he said it. He meant that people with realization, the true correct truth or realization, moksha, then the number of people, the density increases, and which is correct. If you see the number of atheists at the Gautam Buddha's time, or Poincare's time, and if you see international atheist events that are being held now, the things are much becoming easier. For example, I am quoting that C.V. Raman is an atheist. So it becomes much easier for me. I mean, rather than saying it for the first time, say what Gautam Buddha may have faced. Just imagine that way. Okay, anyway, this discussion is over. Yeah, now can you go back to your question and just see that in a granularity if something is missing?
I think it's perfect, Mr. Swashish. I think I'm sure the viewers would love to hear your views and they're already enjoying it. But carrying on, Mr. Subhashish, how was and coming back to the real profession which you are in, so how was the IIT JEE exam different in 1980s and 90s from what it is like right now? Because you've been teaching for 35 years now.
Yes. So there has been huge changes. I will point out, say, 6, 7 of them, one by one. In early 1980s, we had only 800 seats odd, 750 or 800 seats, which means the competition is extremely tough. And obviously, the rank was given only for that, 800, top 800, that's it. In the mid 1980s, that is 85, 86 approx, around, exact I don't remember, it became around 1600 or 1800 seats. And there was a single exam. Moreover, a major thing is that there were 2 criteria. One is that the paper was only in English. Now you see the paper is in 6 different languages like Tamil, Hindi. That time it was in English. Moreover, the English, passing in English is compulsory. So there were a lot of people who were from, vernacular medium, say Hindi, Bengali, like me, I was in Bengali medium. And my English was horrible. Now, in those days, the physics, chemistry, math paper would be checked only if you pass in English. That was the same rule was in West Bengal joint also. In West Bengal joint was open for whole India. That was the only state level, entrance exam, which I know of, was open for whole country. Though, those who are not from West Bengal, such as say I was from Bihar, Jamshedpur, then you had only say 5 or 10% of the quota, like in a sense that now if whole India comes and then 90% of the guys by merit fill up, that was not the case, but beyond the point. And in that also, the rule was kind of that only if your English, you clear your English paper and then your physics, chemistry, math is checked. That's one. In IIT JEE, also the physics, chemistry, math was the way we appear for our class 12 exam. So that becomes very difficult in a sense that it is not objective type. So in our days and even now, we see that different students tend to do randomly well in different exams. Say, for example, in one exam, somebody doesn't do well. And let us take for sake of discussion that is not well also, or the pattern doesn't match. Somebody may have trouble, like somebody's grandfather died, quite possible. Like, and then, in another exam, he does well. So there used to be a very tough exam in my times that was known as Bihar Joint Entrance. And that was in the same pattern as the modern IIT JEE exam, where it is objective type and all that. And Jharkhand was made only in 2004. That time Bihar was huge. And the students of Bihar has been traditionally very good in studies. And they maintained a very tough standards. Always. I mean, if you recall Rajendra Prasad also, I mean, in Presidency College, he topped in all exams and all that. So something like that. I mean, the students from here, there are many examples. So the entrance exam was tough, but that was objective type, in which it was very good. And I had a very good rank in that exam. I mean, beyond the point what rank I had and all that, that's not the point now. It doesn't make any sense. But I'm just saying, while in the IIT JEE, it was where you have to actually solve questions and all that. And that's it. And a very few, like you have only 13 questions. But in an objective type question, you may have 100 questions or 60 questions, 60 in physics, 60 in maths, 60 in chemistry. But here it may be 12, 13 questions only. And then, if you miss something, you miss a chunk of 5, 6 marks or something like that. It works. Anyway, so things have changed. Then I will tell you certain havocs. It was around, if I am recalling correctly, 99 or 2000, when a sent-up test or a exam was introduced in Jan. Like, see, the IIT exam generally is in April, May. While in the January, there was a exam in which if you qualify, only then the advance will be allowed to be, you can apply for the actual IIT JEE, not advance, but IIT JEE. Now, that time, I remember the number of seats were 3,000 and they were giving rank up to 15,000. Now, as soon as this exam was held in Jan, then in every home, there were two excuses. One, that actually IIT JEE previously was in April, May, and that time I get 4 months to do well. Now, as it is in Jan, the students say that I didn't do well because it is too early. Means in Jan, I don't know anything. By April and May, I would have done great. That is one excuse. Managing moms, pops as well. And the second excuse is that, yeah, my rank was just 15,001. I mean, even though it is 5 times 3,000 and 5,000, 15,000 is not enough. My rank is just 15,001. So there was a huge havoc and cry that Jan was not the right time to take what I would say, a qualifying test, if that was the case. Okay. And then this qualifying test was dropped. And then many new IITs came. And today we get rank up to, I think, more than 20,000 or something. While IIT JEE main, the rank is given up to say 1.5 lakhs or 2 lakhs, it's nothing. I mean, I have met a lot of people who say that I qualified IIT JEE. Okay, fine. What was your rank? 86. 86, wow. Okay, but 86, I mean, what are you doing here? I mean, I was meeting him somewhere. So what are you doing here? I mean, it was in a college actually. So no, actually 86,000. I mean, so, I mean, very happily, he says that his rank is 86. Now, believe me, I have met a lot of students. I'm 35 years here. So, I mean, I met someone who says that my son is good at studies. Okay. I mean, after 6 months, we meet again. So, okay, once IIT JEE exam is over, what is your son's rank? Oh, he got 68,000. I mean, just 6 months earlier, that lady said that her son was good at studies. And now, if I ask, I shouldn't have asked the rank, and then she says 68,000. So believe me that now, if we meet someone and says I qualified IIT JEE, we only say, yeah, sounds good. And that's not the only thing. I mean, we have many other alternatives which you can pick up. So I think I gave you a glimpse of what all happened. This IIT JEE main exam started by renaming one exam known as AIEEE, that is All India Engineering Entrance Exam. It was there, which was an objective type question and quite tough. That was largely used as the entrance for certain state exams, NIT, this, that. That was renamed or rechristened as IIT JEE Main. So you see that things have changed. More seats are there. It is easy to make now. More alternatives have come in. In our times, private engineering colleges were rare. And today, if you see that somebody was telling me that if you take border of Bangalore and around 100 kilometer this way, that way, if you can search, you may get more than 100 engineering colleges, including some of them in Tamil Nadu also, because Bangalore is in the border of, in the map you can see Karnataka and Tamil Nadu border. So, including some. Now, if we have 100 colleges and almost all those colleges does just concentrate only on computer science and IT, and you can rename the computer science in so many ways. In our times, there was no computer science at all. Very rare computer science was there. And even if you see in US, computer science rarely, if it was there, then it was under electrical department. Subsequently, electronics started. And then computer was under electronics department in some universities. And then we have seen the evolution fully. So we have seen we have seen, I'm including a lot of people of my age. We means that, in the audience, that we have seen the electronics come and mature, software come and mature. Even the ANSI standardization of C++ was not there up to 98. If you see the different HP and all that, they had their own headers. The ANSI standardization came kind of in this century. So many things we have seen. Things have changed and has become maybe easy, and I will say positive. Did I explain you everything? Yeah.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
can
That
always
was
you can follow up in the granularity because I may miss some points. Sorry for that.
no problems. I think, Professor, this was fabulous. So, thanks for elucidating on the differences, and I'm sure it would be very much beneficial for the viewers. So, Mr. Subhashish, at what age or in which standard should a student start preparing for the IIT JEE entrance exam? I ask this because back in the early 1990s, when I was going to write the IIT JEE, the convention was to start preparing for the exams from end of class 10th or beginning of class 11th. I remember brilliant tutorials, elite course was designed for 2 years study, for example. What is the advice nowadays?
Okay, so this will have three parts. First of all, that is back in 1980s, there used to be, from brilliant tutorials itself, I am aware, we used to have a IIT JEE foundation, which was from class 8, and a lot of people were taking it. Whatever was the price, and that was available. Brilliant tutorials were closed down long back. I have seen many coaching and materials closing down. Like we had something known as Agarwal coaching that is not there anymore. Then we had Apex. We have many. I can name you many really. So this is not true that people were preparing only from class 11. There were n number of people who were preparing from class 8. So this stands even now. Okay, that is one. Second is that in those days, we didn't have any much alternatives. We had only the NITs, and then private colleges were completely missing. Even in Maharashtra, around Nagpur, or say in South India, the private colleges started late 80s, at the end of 1980s, say 80s, in 89 onwards, and then slowly it picked up. Okay, so that time we had only two choices. Either somebody makes it to engineering, that is in IIT or NIT, or we study bachelor's. Okay. Then starting in class 11, even now is there, even that time it was there. And in North India or in South India, in those days, people used to prepare after class 12. In that case, the excuse is that, I didn't do well because I had my class 12 exam. And so, that is what the students tell to their parents. And then, there are, I personally know quite a few guys who try to do, after class 12 is the first attempt. While being at the end of class 12 is first attempt, they go for second attempt, third attempt, fourth attempt, even. So that is there. And that age limit was not there. People can have any number of attempts. That is another change. Now we can have only two or three attempts, something like that. And now things have changed. In South India, we have so many private colleges or otherwise. We have ISER, we have NISER. I can talk about it because I have a long list here. I really organize the things. So ISER, NISER, these alternatives are not there. So in South India, it is close to zero who go for second attempt. I mean, everybody will get to CET, this, that. And in Karnataka CET, year after year, we have approximately 5,000-6,000 or more, 10,000 seats which are vacant. There were also news that many engineering colleges closed down because they didn't get sufficient students. So in this scenario, there is no one who actually spends time in coaching and thing. So the second, third attempt, I think since quite a few decades, maybe at least 2 decades or so, is a phenomena in the North India. The South Indian phenomenon is not there. And many years ago, I had seen some statistics from some IIT director. They said that, generally those who get it into the first attempt is quite smart. And it is around 55 to 60% of the guys who make it is generally in the first attempt. And only around 40% guys make it in the second attempt or third attempt. I mean, the real smart kids make it in the first attempt itself. So, does that answer your question, or is there anything that I missed out?
So when should we typically start these days?
See, before this, I want to tell you that we have more than 30 various alternatives which I see in this society. So, a lot of people don't do those. So, be very clear here that ultra rich and rich people in Bangalore or anywhere else in India, they don't prepare for IIT JEE at all. See, what I define as ultra rich, I'll tell you, that is not by money. See, let us take some small place in Uttar Pradesh or Bihar, say Ara or Chhapra, or I can pick anything you want. Now, people don't stand in a queue for the whole night to buy the Harry Potter book early morning at 5 o'clock. Now, you see very long line of people who are waiting. Yesterday or day before yesterday, there was a line for iPhone 15 or 16 something. I getting the number wrong and so bad of me. Now they will be standing for the whole night to buy the phone immediately. So Harry Potter's book also, they don't want to buy it for say next day or after 3 days or no question of buying it after 7 days. Now there is a large number of large number of international schools who go for IGCSE and IB courses and Oxford courses and all that. Now these international schools are filled off and with these rich people who want Harry Potter's book and iPhone on the same day. They don't prepare for IIT JEE. So if you ask that when should children prepare for IIT JEE, then it is close to 0%. Those who are in international schools, they don't qualify, don't prepare for IIT JEE at all. So if there is a parent who comes and says that, hi, my son or daughter is in such and such international school, which I get students from, then I don't even pick up the topic of IIT JEE. No point. I mean, I know if they say it of their own, then it is okay. Now, these people, they are doing a good thing that is reducing, they are doing good in many ways in the society. First of all, the international school fees is often 9 lakhs per annum or 12 lakhs per annum, means 1 lakh per month. So these people, they get a lot of salary in dollars. Good that America is printing 36 trillion already, and then a part of it comes as a salary. Easy money, believe me. I mean, I can give you certain links in which people get money very easily, and they say flaunt it also. Even in Bangalore, somebody says that I get 3 crores without doing anything. That's okay. So what happens is that they are doing a good. It is a circular economy in which the teachers, the security guard in this international schools are getting money. See, I'm speaking very positively. One. Second is that these people, generally 100% of them, they do some foreign project. I know people where they say that I want my daughter in the summer to go to California and do some project, because if she has a project even for 2 weeks, then that will help for getting admission in some college or university in US, because their aim is 100% that that easy money that they got, they also donate it back to the US as a circular economy again, international circular economy in this case. And so these people, they don't care for IIT JEE. And I never said that they're, superior or inferior than that middle class who prepare for IIT JEE. Please. So we will see that, and then if you ask them, then people will say that, okay, my son is studying computer science in some US university and all that. Okay, so there is a very big, clear divide. If it's a very big divide, like the valley is big, you have a hill this side and you have a hill that side, the valley is really large. And that who prepares for Indian exams and who prepares for outside exams. Now, here in Bangalore or India in general, among the rich people, the exams that they prepare, that means they don't prepare for IIT at all, is IGCSE. Then there are many kind of hobby Olympiads like SOAF and all that. There are some 20 of them. Like in computers itself, there are at least three. There is something known as a cyber Olympiad. There is something known as an informatics Olympiad. And then there is something known as hummingbird Olympiads. And there are so many of them. Okay. Then we have something known as a AoPS exam. That is from, American Math Society, AoPS exam. And that is very popular. Even somebody who is not ultra rich, I have seen some guys who are in CBSE, but yet they talk about AoPS exam. So what is happening? There are so many other math exams, say from Chennai, as I am a life member, AMTI. I am a member of AMTI since early 90s. AMTI is one of the oldest. It is there around from 1955 approx. But yet, so AMTI conducts an exam, in maths, and these people, they don't care about those exams. They will go for AoPS. Similarly, there is another exam which ISI Bangalore is conducting, Indian Statistical Institute Bangalore, and they rightly did the marketing with again American Math Society. And this is a open test where the students can take exam in their home. So class 9 and 10, they can do it together and they go for the maths exams like that. So these people, they don't go for IIT Foundation, this, that. And they don't do well in these exams also, that I have observed in the AoPS and all that also. I mean, I have seen, obviously I teach for AoPS as well. And AoPS is much easier, much easier than the so-called other, this AMTI exams and all that. So I get some children who are ultra rich as well as so-called middle class. They come in the young ages of class 5, 6, 7. They come for appreciation of science. There are some families who say that I don't care about any exam. I want the child to appreciate science very deeply. In those cases, I start with a lot of encyclopedias, such as Encyclopedia of Evolution, a picture dictionary on evolution. Because, when somebody is busy in class 11, 12 with IIT JEE exam, say, then they don't have any time to care about evolution and all that. So appreciation of science comes in many dimensions. And as at the beginning of the talk today, as you saw, that I'm a very strict science guy. I don't talk any nonsense science strictly since many years. I mean, that has made my name. So I take to tell them a lot of nuances of science, that what even again Ibn al-Haytham said and what Biruni said. I mean, that is not normally covered by any random teacher. I mean, obviously, there will be some teachers who will talk about it. So deep appreciation of science, there is a belief in the city that, okay, and I get students from outside also, somebody from Hong Kong, Singapore, searching me out. I mean, there was one guy who called me from Dubai, and in the first call itself, he says that I searched you out, I am Dubai topper. And I don't know with whom I want to study. I mean, I think you are the only guy with whom I should study. I mean, with whatever he has searched me out from the internet. So completely, there is no advertisement here. He searches me out, and he was very impressive. He tried to talk about certain things in string theory in the first call itself. And then whatever I answered and not answered is beyond the discussion. So you see that different families, I'll put it in a very summarized way. Different families, I think, would have some maybe 30 different views on education system, that what their child should learn. And what I have gathered is that I don't push. If somebody is in the view number 22, if there are 30 views and whatever, then there is no point in saying that you do this. It is all about that, okay, you want to do this, and then, okay, how I can help you. Or, okay, I may not help, in a sense that somebody wants to do something which I don't teach. And that's okay. Okay, so there are three things now. Class 5, 6, 7 is on appreciation of science largely. So let it be AoPS exam or math exam or those SOF or hobby exams. There are so many of them. I can name them so many. Like you have NSSO, National Space Science Olympiad, NISO, National Interactive Science Olympiad. Okay, you will find. I mean, now somebody may approach and say that my child wants to appear for UIMO, United International Math Olympiad. There are so many of them. Now I can't say to that parent that why do you care about UIMO? Why don't you do that arithmetic book? They clear the fundamentals. So clearing the fundamentals gets into that class 5, 6, 7 appreciation of science thing. And my children, I mean, my students who prepare with me as early as class 5, 6, I have a lot of families where the children studied with me for 6 long years. So obviously the relationship must have been good, you can guess. So in those cases, the fundamentals is clear, and then whatever exam they appear, they start doing very well. I mean, really, they're topping the world. In some cases, where I have an example where the student tops the world. I mean, quite a few examples. So, I mean, these are international exams, and then the fundamentals are clear. End of story. Okay, so IIT becomes a very small part of it. If it is IIT specific, then of course it remains as class 8, 9, 10. Again, after covering the fundamentals. And then we zoom into other. One thing, today I wanted to have a surprise factor here. As we get more into the call, there will be a lot of surprises. And I have planned it. Actually, I have a note here. And, the surprise factors are, not bundled out at the end. They come here. So one of my aim is to celebrate death of some exams. That's a surprise factor. And also, I am very sorry about losing one exam. So I will tell you which exam I am sorry about losing, and that is KVPY. We had a KVPY exam that was for joining Indian Institute of Science. Now in 2020, Indian Institute of Science spent around 4 crores to call the top guys, and like a seminar, they had a lot of discussions. But hardly anyone joined after qualifying KVPY. I had one student who was second in Karnataka, I think second in Bangalore as well, in KVPY, though his rank was around 55 or something. But okay, anyway, he was in the camp. And I wanted to give you a heads up that these guys are really smart guys, KVPY. Now the exam is not there, and several scientists wrote to our ministries and Indian Institute of Science director and our education ministry, science ministry, and all that, saying that why such a beautiful exam was discontinued. I feel sorry about that exam. So, but this exam is not there. That exam would have been good. Want to give you one shocking heads up. Since long time in my life, I knew that in complex numbers, we have only one of them, that is I, that is square root of -1 is I. And also that was popularized by one mathematician known as Cardano back in 1550, when he solved the cubic equation. Cardano was the kind of generalized cubic equation solution Cardano gave. I mean, there were specific solutions given by some other mathematicians. And a contemporary Italian mathematician was the guy who introduced I as square root of -1. So Cardano actually didn't invent I, but he used I and made it popular for solving complex cubic equation, because a cubic equation may have complex roots. Now, very recently, maybe around 6, 7 years back, I mean, bad of me, I came to know very late that we have some other type of complex numbers also. I'm not sure you know about them or not, but those are known as quaternions and octanions. Now, I didn't know about this. I mean, that's okay. I mean, I'm not the very famous person, or I'm not a scientist, and so I don't know about them. That's okay. Sorry for that. Now, in 2020 Indian Institute of Science camp, in that seminar, there were some guys from Kerala, because my student told me, because he was attending that seminar. He said that these guys were asking questions on quaternions and octanions to the professors. Just imagine. What happens is that those who those who used to qualify KVPY were really smart guys. And today we don't have any way to identify them. So now you can well understand that why so many scientists were very sorry to stop KVPY exam. Okay, now Indian Institute of Science admission is through IIT JEE main only. or IIT JEE Advanced. Okay, I mean IIT JEE exam. I'll give you the other surprises later, that which I'm celebrating, the death of which exams I'm celebrating.
Okay, thanks for that, Professor. So you're saying that effectively, for the aptitude of science, one can begin in the class fifth, and then later on the preparations for IIT JEE would go on from the class eighth, ninth, and 10th, and so on. That's a trend these days. Is that a correct understanding?
Yes, and if they want to do that IIT JEE, because while we have many other alternative ways to move out, as I said, that we have APHO, then from ISI Bangalore, we have one exam. That is with the American Math Society only. And then, these exam and the performance of these exams are again quoted for those university admissions. And if you see the circular economy in Canada, America particularly, if not in Germany or England, then a lot of people tend to quote their performance in these exams while applying for these universities, saying that, you see, these are the American exams I have already appeared for, and this is what I have done, like that. So if somebody is, IIT JEE is now a very small portion of the gamut of the things that is going on among the rich and informed, successful people.
Professor, so talking specifically about the IIT JEE entrance exam itself, can you tell us how the strategy for cracking the IIT JEE entrance exam has changed over the years from back, let's say, 1990s till today?
Okay, so from 1990s, you are asking. Now, see, we already saw that the pattern has changed. Now, IIT JEE Advance will be, somebody will appear only after IIT JEE Main. Previously, in 1999, it was that there was a selection test. 15,000 people are only allowed for. So obviously, now somebody has to do well. Generally, we have seen that people score slightly lesser in maths and physics and chemistry, maybe. I tell my students, they tend to finish all the whole of the chemistry of IIT JEE. Multiple of them have done it by class 10 itself. Many, I have really many, because some of them went to the international chemistry camp at Homi Bhabha Center, qualified for the chemistry Olympiad. So my strategy is to finish all of chemistry by class 10. Okay. And then for the remaining part, we perfect it out in physics and maths. And what happens is that when they appear for the IIT JEE exam, specifically, it has already happened. I tell them that you start with chemistry. And if it is a 3-hour exam, I'm just giving an example, 3-hour exam, by end of the first hour, that is, they finish the chemistry paper by 45 minutes. And they have already qualified IIT JEE. That means out of the 3 hours, in the first 45 minutes, they have already covered, because they do very well. They score close to, say 90-95% in chemistry. And then they do physics. And then last, they appear for maths. That is a very granular details on how they attack, because maths takes a lot of time. Some of the maths problem really takes. So what I mean, there is no point in doing the maths paper first and then spending time and wasting time and getting frustrated and all that. So in maths, whatever they do, they do. That is in the last. Most of my students have got very good results. I'll give you around 240, 250, 350, whatever. These are very good results. Sometimes double-digit ranks also, single-digit ranks also, very rarely. Now, what happens is this strategy is generic with the assumption that if somebody is good at chemistry. But we, of course, when we find that there are people who are getting 1.2 lakh rank or 86,000, as I said, somewhere whom I met. So, they don't know anything. So that's okay.
Okay, so thanks for that. Now, again, I'm focusing on the IIT JEE over here because, a lot of people are interested in that. So can you identify some of the traits you have seen in the successful students over the years? And if one does not have those qualities naturally, how can they be developed to increase chances of cracking the IIT JEE exam?
How much we can develop? Yeah, again, I will answer 3 parts of this. Okay, one by one. One is that, see, we need very good analytical skills. Now, I will give you some example that I had some students who had qualified NTSE because they were studying with me since class, say class 7, 8, 9. So obviously this NTSE exam, when it is conducted, say class 10 in those days, it was in class 10. So they qualify NTSE. Now these guys in Karnataka, there were, I think, some 15, 16, 18. I don't exactly remember how many. And these guys, 18 of them, they had qualified NTSE and they had a WhatsApp group among their own and kind of egoistic. They are discussing among themselves that who will top class 12 IIT JEE in Karnataka among us. There is no question of anyone else topping. That means it doesn't matter that how many thousands of people are going to which coaching. So one important criteria here is that KVPI is okay, not there, but NTSE is there in class 10. And I think NTSE previously was there twice, once in 9 and 10, then they changed the rule and it was in class 8 and 10 and all that. I mean, that is matter of details that what is it now. But one thing is clear that if it is a long race and somebody is already ahead by 4 kilometers, imagine it's a marathon of 24 kilometers or something, whatever. And then somebody is ahead by 4 kilometers and then you run and you think that those guys are sitting. So somebody who is ahead is really ahead. So here I have a observation very clear here. It is not changing that the NTSE toppers are not eliminated. I mean, don't think that, I will go to some coaching and start in class 11, in whichever coaching somebody goes. And then, I will do better than those guys who had qualified NTSE. Now here something comes that see CBSE, ICSE, these boards, they will be informing all the principals for this NTSE kind of and all that. I mean, there are many notifications which come to the principals. I'm talking in general in whole India. But then most principals, they disregard it. I will give you another example. See, again in 2020, coincidentally, there was a Government of India exam known as VVS. VVS stands for Vidyarthi Vigyan Manthan. Vidyarthi is students, Vigyan is science, and Manthan is to, uh, just discuss or whatever, organize, try. So VVM has also published a book, which I can give you in your link after this video is published. You can put it in the link. VVM has written 3 books. Government of India through CBSE, they wrote it. Now they told all the principals of India to appear for VVM, and this VVM exam is again just like NTSE exam is for the lower classes. So the book as a PDF is being given by Government of India. They spend money to write the book, and all the principals are told to take this exam. Now, do you think every school in Bangalore or in Allahabad takes the exam? And the answer is no. So what I'm saying is that there are hobby exams that separate. All hobby exams everybody doesn't take. As I told you, so many Olympiad named exams are there. We have NSEJS, which has been named as IOQJS. That is National Standard Exam in Junior Science. Now it is named as IOQJS, International Olympiad Qualifier for Junior Science. These are the official Government of India official conducted by IIPT, Indian Association of Physics Teachers. Then we have IOQP, that is International Olympiad Qualifier for Physics, Indian Olympiad Qualifier for Chemistry. These are all official exam. VBS is also official exam. NTSE is also official. Official means a kind of semi-government, government-backed. Okay. Now, the principals will not inform the students to take that. That is one. And once I'm talking about VVS or I am talking about NTSE, I wanted to point out that VVS wrote 3 books. One was on Ketkar as an astronomer. He's one of the greatest astronomers who predicted the position of Pluto, or he discovered Pluto before the foreign astronomers. And then there was one to improve the calendar and how time is measured, and then how our almanacs change. For example, today is also start of Prithvi Praksha. And that is as per some almanac, and those almanacs had deviated. A lot of people don't know this thing, and there are certain atheist groups again, like Ramakrishna Mission. They tend to follow Vishuddha Siddhanta. Vishuddha means pure, and then pure calculations. And there was one gentleman who actually improved on the calendars and almanacs in India. And then Government of India is writing a book for free for the children to know our heritage. So one was on astronomer on Ketkar, another was on improving the almanacs, and the third would be lovely, and that is what was Indian contribution to science. The name of the book itself is Indian Contribution to Science. Now, these are good exams. The principals don't care about it. The children don't prepare about it. And they always think that, okay, I told you that a large number of people want to go out. So, those who are going to US universities or Germany or Canada, I mean, they don't care about what Indian contribution of science was. It doesn't matter. I mean, those who are going to international schools. So CBSE or Government of India doesn't send this notification to international schools, nor they care. I mean, that ultra rich. They are interested in Harry Potter. Very good. Very good donation to the circular economy once again. So here, if you see that how you prepare, I answered you. The strategy is to do these exams. 3 exams, I said. One is junior science, India International Olympiad qualifier for junior science. Then VVM and NTSE. These are all in class 10 and below. Junior science is class 8 and below, and all that. Okay. And by the by, in our international junior science, the official one, international official one, Indian students are not doing very well. That should be clear that, we always think that we are doing very well. We are not doing very well in the Asian Physics Olympics, which is only for class 11 and below. So Asian Physics Olympiad, again, we see China, Taiwan, South Korea doing well. So in Asian Physics Olympiad, also we are not doing well. Junior Science, International Junior Science, only once we topped, and that was in, I think, in Oman. There was one junior science they topped. So the strategy I answered that do these exams. And regarding VVM, I wanted to tell you one very important thing. It was Indian contribution to science, and there were a lot of things which were missing. So I wrote a very long email to a large number of people who were in that committee, VVM team, the authors and the directors and all those organizers. So I want to just ask a few questions because it is becoming a monologue from my side. If you, I mean, just a very basic, a few seconds, if you don't mind, only few, take 10, 15 seconds, that if you have to write a book on Indian contribution of science, which are the names you would have included? I mean, that's what they wrote, a book, they wrote a book.
Okay.
I mean, you are a very well-educated person. I mean,
so you say that what are the Indian contributions to science?
I mean, in general, whatever comes to you are an educated, very sensible person. So, I mean, just say, take from you. Imagine that, hi, Prashant, we are writing a book on Indian contribution of science. What are the inputs you would have given?
Sure. So the first thing which comes to my mind is the contribution of zero by Aryabhatta. Then next thing which comes to my mind is the Raman effect from C.V. Raman. And, there's controversies around who discovered radio. So who invented radio, for example, it was Marconi, and as per the the English literature, but there are things that Indians have contributed to that earlier. And then, of course, mythologically, we have so many things which are present in various mythological Hindu scriptures as well. Something like that can be brought about in the book. General thoughts.
Prashant, I mean, really love you again. I mean, I'm taking over. Sorry. Now, 2, 3 things, which just one correction, and I will add something in the ancient. Whatever you referred are very old things. Even Raman effect is 100 years old, right? So just note a few things here. One, a lot of people don't know that we have something known as we had something known as a Kerala School of Mathematics. You can check it in the Wikipedia, or we have many other pages. Kerala School of Mathematics discovered or invented a kind of calculus and the sine cos series 700 years before the European scientists, particularly Leonard Euler. I mean, Euler was great. I mean, he was from Switzerland, Basel, but then one of the greatest mathematicians. But it was 700 years before that we found calculus and sine cos tan. I mean, you didn't talk about it. So Kerala School of Maths was, I mean, that is, but again, it is an ancient thing. And what you said is a hackneyed. Hackneyed means commonly known. Don't mind. And VVM book also made the same miss. I'll use the word miss. They missed certain things. And I want to tell you certain things which are great about Indians and which is not there in VVM book, nor it is there in the common thing. So I have, I was expecting this question to come up. Thanks to you that, what are the exams you should prepare. So you should know that Nobel Prize is around 1.2 million or $1.1 million. And generally it goes to 3-4 people shared in various ratios. There was one billionaire from Russia. His name is Uri. And then Uri gives prizes on theoretical physics. And there is one gentleman, his name is Ashok Sen. Now he is not in Harishchandra Research Institute, Allahabad. Again, we'll talk about Harishchandra also. So Ashok Sen was working in Harishchandra Research Institute in Allahabad, which is one of the premier places in the world in advanced physics. And Ashok Sen got Uri Prize, which is for 3 million. And 3 million is a big number, but I'm not going that money part of it. But that was given by Uri, the billionaire. And it is very strange of any billionaires giving money like that. I mean, we only know about Alfred Nobel. Now, Ashok Sen's name was missing in VVM. And Ashok Sen is one of the top-notch physicists in India. And obviously, this Uri Prize was given to him for good. Again, most people don't know Ashok Sen's name. I mean, did you know Ashok Sen's name? No.
Don't recall now.
No, never mind. Just say no, and that saves time. No, not a problem. I'm not, quizzing or attacking anyone. I mean, also, that what makes my teaching very unique is, a lot of people have said that I do talk about certain things which is not commonly talked about, and I'm not cooking up things. It is worth talking. But then again, even if you read books, you will not get it. The second is that, have you heard about Roy Choudhury equation? Again, a Bengali surname Roy Choudhury, but then Ashok Sen is also a Bengali, but okay. Or Amol Kumar Roy Choudhury. Say
I'm
no
afraid
quickly.
not. No.
Yeah. So Amol Kumar Roy Choudhury is a top-notch physicist, and there is an equation in physics known after his name, that is Roy Choudhury equation. And that equation was used to do more work. And then there was a Nobel Prize given to Roger Penrose and another 2 people. I mean, one lady. That, women getting Nobel Prize in physics is very rare. We have only 3. So one was Marie Curie, who got Nobel Prize both in physics and chemistry. Then we had Maria, who did a shell model of atoms. And then that was the thing. Okay, and then for several years, none. So along with Roger Penrose, there was a lady who got Nobel Prize by doing certain work on black holes. And then obviously it was verified. And then Nobel Prize was given. Now, after the Nobel Prize, Roger Penrose visited Kolkata and met Amal Kumar Roy Choudhury's family and thanked them that, you see, strange of the Nobel Committee, that, I developed the second floor of something. And, the staircase was made by Roy Choudhury because I used Roy Choudhury equation, and they gave Nobel Prize to me. And he came to thank Roy Choudhury's family for Roy Choudhury equation because Roy Choudhury was already dead. Now, Roy Choudhury equation and Amal Kumar Roy Choudhury are really interesting things which every student should know. A Nobel laureate coming and thanking. Anyway, next, there is one known as father of fiber optics, and this is a Sardarji Sikh gentleman, Narinder Singh Kapani. Narinder Singh Kapani is known as father of fiber optics. I don't know you know his name or not. And then the greatest surprise. I said that I will spread out the surprise factors in this talk. And that is, you see, the highest award in computer science is called Turing Award. Of course, all computers are Turing machines, that everybody knows. And in the computer science, the highest award is Turing Award. Like in maths, we have the Fields Medal, like that. Now, there is only one Indian origin scientist, and he is a civil engineer from Andhra Pradesh, but then he became a professor of computer science. His name is Dobbala Raj Reddy. And he is the only Indian origin person who got the highest computer science award known as Turing Award. Now, these are contribution of Indian contribution in science, modern times. But, we have a cliche or a habit of talking only about Aryabhatta, Zero, and this kind of stuff also. And, a lot of people think that, I don't know about Kerala School of Mathematics. Now you know that I am aware of Kerala School of Mathematics as well. But these modern things which are amazing, like father of fiber optics, Turin Award, the greatest. So what is happening? We have a lot of things like Bangalore is called as the IT capital. Okay, otherwise it is called Silicon Valley. Now Bangalore is not a valley; it is a plateau. So we should call it as a Silicon Plateau. Now somebody will not love this. And then why? Because we are so smart in computer science. And then how many people in Bangalore, if you go around and ask that, have you heard? Very simple question. It is not about advertising about Mr. Raj Reddy, but then Dobbala Rajgopal Reddy. And then have you heard about him? And then, no one in Bangalore cares. Do you understand? I mean, so we are very strange. I mean, we are biased in some sense. And then you will have a surprise that very recently in 2013, a new body part was discovered by an Indian. Now, this is bizarre, sounds bizarre. I mean, is there anything which is pending as a body part which you didn't know? So it is by Dr. Dua. And this particular thing is known as a Dr. Dua's layer. Okay, in our eye, just behind the cornea, we have a layer, and that is known as Dr. Dua's layer because everybody had missed it. It is in microns and nobody had observed it. And as Dr. Dua could talk about it, we had very good eye doctors always. Don't worry on that. But then what I'm saying is this particular layer was Dr. Dua's layer, and that was, as of today, it is the last body part that was discovered. And one Indian discovering a new body part, we don't know about it. So, there are certain other details which I can tell you, but then I'll not be boring you. But then now you can well understand that I wrote a very big mail to VVM and saying that, see, I mean, I am not in the committee, but then better you improve this stuff. I mean, you should be contribution to science, but then why don't you talk about these top-notch things like that? Okay.
Okay, thanks, Professor, for regaling us with those gems of knowledge. Uh, Switching gears now, coming back to the IIT JEE, which rather looks mundane in light of all the things which you just told us. But nevertheless, what is the role of parents during the whole process of preparation for IIT JEE by a student? What would be your recommendation to the parents so that they become enablers for their kids and not a roadblock for them during this journey? And what are the biggest mistakes that the parents can make?
Okay, so assuming that the student is also interested. See, I talked about G2 Krishnamurti little while ago at the beginning of the talk. G2 Krishnamurti is a very famous philosopher, I mean, one of the top-notch Indian philosophers. And he said that we should not be compelling or pushing our children too much with what has to be done. I mean, in a sense that the children should be free to choose what they want to do. Now, one of the errors which parents can do is to push the child towards IIT and the child doesn't want. That can be one error. As you asked that what the parents should do. That is why I said that if the child is also interested, that's one, like, to respect that when the child does not want. I will give you one glaring example. There was a child who joined and studied with me for 3 months. And after 3 months, had a big fight with his mom. That child was in class 8 that time. I mean, long back, but I know. And the mom came and said that my child says that he wants to become a safe. I mean, he sees Australian master safe and American master safe, and nothing wrong in that. And he has asked his mom that why we have to do this. And obviously, I was doing some very simple thing what in class 8 can be done. Obviously, what a high school student can do in class 8 and 9 is a different discussion. That's a separate discussion that what the top-notch guys do. But then what I was doing is very simple. But then he doesn't like it. And he tells his mom that I want to be a safe. And then mom agrees. So here, very clear that if the child wants to do it, okay. Now, the next thing comes. You see, let us understand one very simple thing, which I have designed this quote like this. That can any child know the spelling of crocodile when the child doesn't know the spelling of cat? I mean, not possible. Imagine a nursery child, or I don't know in which class spelling test is taken, or until unless we don't stress out the child with a test. So imagine a Giti Natto kind of a thing. The child comes and is crying at home, saying that the ma'am has told that she will take a test, and she said that I will ask crocodile. I'm leaking the question, and I'll ask crocodile spelling in the next exam. Okay, fine. Now the question is very clear that we cannot jump to crocodile without knowing the spelling of cat. Means we have to climb the stairs step by step. Often in the modern society, I have seen that very basic logical arithmetic maths, as it is called, is missing. Like I am referring to one book, which is maybe 150 years old or kind of 120 years old, something that is known as Jajab Chandra Patigonit. Like Patigonit is arithmetic. In English, it is. We have the English version freely downloadable. These books are very old and they are there in archive.org and LibGen and all that for free. I mean, they're not very old books, these are. Now we have beautiful analytical questions. I will give you one example and then that will make the point. That a person goes out of home at afternoon, sometime in between 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Okay. And then when he returns sometime in between 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Sees that the hour hand and the minute hand has exchanged their positions. At what exact time the person went out and what exact time came back. And I don't have to use the word exact time. At what time the person went out between 3 to 4 and at what time he came back between 8 to 9. Goes out in the afternoon, comes back in the night. Simple. Now, these are known as watch problems. And it is very rare. I mean, the kind of 1 in a lakh that children can do this. Believe me. I mean, I have certain interview questions, which are very basic ones, and I can give you I can lick these questions immediately to you. Okay, and then we don't see people are analytical enough. So when I was in class 7, I could do this. Be very clear here. I'm not bragging. When I was in class 7, so if I go to with my standards that I was in class 7, I can do this problem. And now I meet a class 10 guy or class 9 guy or whatever. I mean, otherwise, the child is too stressed up. And then, and if commits suicide, then I am killed. So here what happens is that the whole thing has diluted so much that people want a lot of appreciation. Everybody is a whiz kid and all that. And you cannot ask any questions. I mean, I have actually met some rare case where the mom was a PhD in chemistry, was working in Infosys, never done anything on chemistry. And in Infosys, she was paid well because of whatever management she was doing as a managerial position. And then she feels that the child knows everything. And then I asked some basic questions while selecting the child. I actually didn't select the child at the end of it. But then she reacted that why you have to ask so many questions to my child. Now, this is very bizarre. Like this doesn't happen in every family. But then why do you have to ask questions even? I mean, why don't you admit the child directly? So this is highly egoistic. And you can well understand. So what has happened is that asking tough questions is kind of not allowed even with some families. And in that case, the family is very politely rejected. Now, that is an error which the parents are doing. If that is a question that what errors parents are doing, what the parents have imagined that, a person who cannot solve this kind of watch problems and you are analytically good. And, we are talking about so many math exams, so many physics exams, is that, I mean, kya majak bana ke rakha hai kya? So what I'm saying is I can let out many funny questions. I will give you another question where 1 in a million can do or cannot do, mostly that means. And that was an NTSE question. And you can take the question if you want, just for fun. One guy watches has a clock in front of him. Nowadays, we use that iWatch or something. I mean, these are not relevant for iWatch. I don't have an iWatch. I hope, otherwise, these watch problems are kind of illegal to be asked. Okay, so exactly at 12 o'clock, the minute hand and the hour hand is matching in the clock. Okay, and then it goes round, and exactly after 12 hours, when again, when it is 12 o'clock, that means imagine that I start at 12 o'clock. I mean, I'm elaborating it too much. This is not the way it is given. I mean, I'm too nice. I mean, some people think that I'm polite. Anyway, So at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, you start the experiment, and at night, 12 o'clock, it ends. I mean, of course, you can speed it up. So how many times the minute hand crossed the hour hand up to night 12 o'clock? Okay. And you will see, wait, and I will tell you a background here, or you try it, and then if that takes more than 10 minutes, I'm joking, Prashant, you will kill me now. I will never meet you. If I meet you, you'll kill me, I know. Yeah, try by chance.
Okay, so how many times the hour hand crosses the
No,
minute
minute
hand?
hand. Why our hand will cross the minute hand? The minute
Yeah,
hand
that's
crosses
right.
the hour hand. The minute hand is moving faster. Anyway,
Okay. All right. So you start at 12 o'clock. So
in the afternoon. Afternoon.
so I'm assuming that, all right. So I'm assuming that that's the time you start. So
That is
the minute
zero.
hand
Like,
goes right,
after that, I
correct.
mean, you start at 12. So then how many times the minute hand crosses off the hour hand till night 12 o'clock?
Okay. So the first round is going to be made, and then we come back at 1 o'clock. So we'll meet again at 1 o'clock. Then again we'll meet at 2 o'clock. Then again we'll meet at 3 o'clock. That way, so on. So which means at 11 o'clock again, the 11th time we'll meet, and then we meet again at 12 in the night. So isn't it straightforward? Well, the last time it doesn't cross, so I would say it meets 11 times.
Correct. So, Prashant, you are amazing, and that is why you are meeting me, and I will also meet you without any fear. I know you'll not kill me. So, here what happens is, believe me, this is an NTSE question. It is into 2020. You can always go to the net and download the NTSE question. And do you know that all the prominent ones, I am not naming the coaching institutes, but you know the names, all the prominent ones, they give the answer wrong. I mean, in the solution, I mean. They give this wrong. And I have asked this question to many people, and then I'll quote one example. Near my home in Bangalore, I have one tower, which is a very tall tower. So that is called as the tallest tower in South India. So I hope something else is there in North India, though I don't care. Now you can well understand that the people staying there are very rich because each apartment may be 6-7 crores or whatever. Okay. Now, important people. And then one lady came and was in class 10 beginning. I asked this question, and then the child could not do, and the mom started crying. This happened in my home. No, you can conduct an experiment. See, you will not realize. I mean, if you are doing it, you feel it is easy. You are doing it correctly, it is easy. But what happens is the coaching institutes are giving a wrong answer. You can download. You can go back 2020. Solutions from various coaching institutes and see yourself. Now, like that, I mean, there are many. There are many. Of course, the so-called in the second level, these are level one. If I'm saying not level 0, but level 1. Level 2, level 3 goes out of the head. I will give you one example. See, in Bangalore, there are many coaching institutes who invite me in the last 3-4 months of the IIT. And I pose them some very simple questions because I know that means I'm dealing with the top cream of the city. I'll give you one example that there is a very prominent group and they have some 11 branches. They had, I mean, this is a long time back. So they had 11 branches. So they took the top 3 from every branch, the cream of the creams, and then there are 33. And then there is a very prominent school known as Kumaran School, where my children also went. And this Kumaran School toppers, the top 3 were there. Okay. So there were total around 33 plus 3, 35, 36, something. These guys were there. And I'm teaching them. So do you believe that these are the cream of the city? Kind of, isn't it? I mean, the toppers of every branch and all that. And then, of course, I teach. They're very flabbergasted and all that. Then I ask a very simple question. And I have never seen any class 12 topper or class 12 student of Bangalore who has answered this correctly. And that is that the day and night is happening because the earth is rotating around its own axis. Like earth is
Oh,
rotating around its own axis. Actually, sun is not rotating around earth. And so as the earth is rotating around its own axis, we are having day and night. How do you prove this? How do you prove this? Now, this is level 2, level 3, I don't know, in fact. And I can tell you certain hints and stories behind this question. This is one of the toughest and the most advanced questions in science. And the science went through a revolution with this particular thing. And in case you know the answer, it's okay. Prashant, don't mind. I feel very safe with you. And I will meet you personally without any fear. I can promise. Don't mind. That's okay. And if you don't know, then that's okay also.
Yeah, I'm too much into C programming these days, forgotten
Uh,
Newtonian mechanics
those
or
were
pendulums and so on. But I
those
suppose it's
were
got something to do with that, isn't it?
It is. So there are two answers. One is it is known as Foucault's pendulum, but the class 12 guys, they don't know about it. You said pendulum, which is Foucault's pendulum. So in 1850, in the Paris Museum, for the first time, public display of Foucault's pendulum started. Nowadays, in many museums and many places, Foucault's pendulum is there. By the way, interestingly, in our new Parliament building in Delhi, we have Foucault's pendulum. So Foucault's pendulum is so important that it could make it to our new Parliament building. And as soon as somebody enters our new Parliament building, then they get Foucault's pendulum in the new Parliament building. So but I have not seen and then how it works and what is the gyroscope principle and all that. Those are matter of details. I can always go to see. I mean, I'm a very experienced teacher. So what happens? I can always go to level 3, level 4. But generally, I see people getting stuck there. Another level 1 or 2 question is that we have leap year. The reason is that everybody knows that Earth is rotating around Sun in 365 point close to 25, but it is actually 24 or something, 238 or whatever. I mean, we have 8 different years. What we are referring as sidereal year. We have different ways of measuring a year. Anyway, and then it is not exactly 0.25, but then we have leap year. So we have to correct every 4 years. We add 1 year, 1 day because of that 0.25, which we don't take. So in 4 years, it is 0.25 into 4. So we have leap year every 4 years. Now a little deeper question comes. Okay, then a century is a leap year only if it is divisible by 400. So 1700, 1800, 1900 was not a leap year. But 2000 was a leap year because 2000 is divisible by 400. So why so? Then we have to get into the granularities that we are adding and subtracting and all that. I am not answering all this. I mean, this is not a science class, so let us not. But then the question comes of this was only the initial level setup. And that is that, okay, you are saying that the Earth is rotating around Sun in 365.24 or whatever a number days. How do you measure that? And that was measured so many years back, 300, 400 years back, it was measured that. And then people, most common answers is stars and clouds. Now, what does stars have to do and what clouds have to do? And you can just by saying stars and cloud, these guys expect that we call them as a whiskey. Now, if you say stars, you're a whiskey. If you say clouds, it is a whiskey. But what's the actual answer? How do you measure it up to so many decimal places? We have measured this up to 3 decimal places, and that was measured 1,000 years back. There was a big fight in history of science because of that. And then now you know what makes me a very special science teacher. 1,000 years back, we have measured it. But then modern kids who are whiz kids, they don't know about it. They don't know. I have not met anyone. I mean, once I tell them to search, then they will search and all that. That's a different discussion altogether. They'll go and search in the internet and get everything. So, get it?
Yeah.
So, have
So,
I answered all your questions?
so what you're saying is that the parents should inculcate the scientific aptitude, the mathematical aptitude from a very early age to become
Absolutely.
enablers, and should not be egoistic in accepting whether their children want it or not.
No, no, you will not force the child. I mean, if the child says that I want to become a chemist or say I want to study geography, I know one guy who studied with me for a long time, for 4 5 years. He studied and then finally he decided that he wants to become a naturist. Like he wants to study the nature, wants to find out new species of animals and trees and leaves and all that, whatever. So that's fine. And in that case, the parents are actually agreeing to do that. What I'm saying is egoistic often happens that, assume the child wants, is not pushing the child. And then they should be open enough. If they have come to a teacher and then they keep fighting with me, of course, the relationship ends there. I mean, some rare cases this has happened where some mom and something, I mean, they randomly say something and they say that, okay, let us part. Let us peacefully part if your son is such a whiz kid. So what I'm saying is that, yes, analytical skills, mm, uh, and then agreeing to be open-minded enough to get into the history of science and be open to these discussions If they keep on saying that, no, my child wants to learn Python, and I'm referring to that joke where there was one advertisement now that somebody in class 9 was earning some 3-4 crores because he has done something in artificial intelligence or something nonsense. So those are all hoax, you know all that. Then now another, like Byju's is closed down now, so I can refer names of Byju's. I can tell you many other names which are closed. So what happens is they have imagined that you take an app and all that and you know everything. But then I'm referring to something which is a 1,000-year-old stuff. Then people should be open-minded enough to accommodate that. And if there is not accommodating, then okay, then okay, learn Python and earn 3 crores, no problem.
Okay, so coming to a more, practical aspect of the whole teaching business. So how do you charge for your teaching? Is it by the hour or per lecture, or is it a full package for a subject? How long does a teaching last? So please tell us all about it.
Sure. So things have changed over a time again. Back in 1990s, I used to take group classes where, 30, 40 guys are sitting in my class. I used to run a coaching institute, and very prominent people were my teachers. For example, in those days, basically, I was the owner of a coaching institute. I was a very prominent maths physics teachers. And in those days, I was not teaching chemistry. And I had one guy, he is now in NIT Durgapur, the head of the department, HOD of chemical. Okay, his name is Onup. And a very rare surname, Khan. His name is Anup Khan, Sadhu Khan, actually. So you can check, you go to NIT Durgapur website and you get Anup Sadhu Khan. So Anup Sadhu Khan holds a record of CGPA in IIT Kharagpur. He topped in all exams and his CGPA was 10 out of 10. And he was an amazing chemistry teacher. Then there was another gentleman. Today, he is one of the directors in BARC. And he was teaching with me. I mean, he had done his PhD not from IIT, somewhere else, and like that. I mean, now imagine he's a director in BRC. So I had these kind of teachers. I had many teachers and all that. I'm many branches, couple of branches, and then I cannot take so many classes. So I was concentrating on physics, maths in those days. So that was a classroom thing. So in the classroom, the fees is whatever, and that is also so many years back. And now the whole thing has changed. Now it is all one-to-one, and because of 2-3 reasons. One is that in research in psychology shows that in one-to-one classes, the performance is 4.5 times better. Now, these are measured values. That is why 4.5 times. We just don't use a random number of 10 or 20 or 100 times better. We don't say that. It's a measured number. So how this performance have been measured and all that, those videos I can give you if you want. But then it is a research finding. Now, in one-to-one, as I teach one-to-one for quite some time, 6-7 years now, the performance has improved a lot. Like these guys do very well. One-to-one, because it is all focused on that guy's ability and gaps. Okay. In a classroom or even in a group of 4, I will give you one example where I used to take even classes with group of 4. And with 4, what happens, then you can well understand what happens with 60 people or 100 people sitting in a class, as it has happened in this quota and all that, these coachings. So in 4, one guy has missed, I'm hypothetically quickly showing exaggerated situation, which actually happens. That is that one guy has missed the class. So once in the last class, I missed it because my Dadu was marrying my Dadi. Like in the Tamilians, they tend to marry at age of 70, the same Dadi. The Dadu is not yet fed up with Dadi yet. So, wants to marry the same Dadi again. So only they do it. And then I missed the last class because my Dadu was marrying Dadi again. Okay, fine. Nothing wrong in that. I'm saying it positively. And now that student wants the whole thing to be repeated again. Okay, the other 3 guys, they don't want. The other 3 guys says, I'm saying, and hypothetically, let us assume it's the class 11 or 12, whatever. One student says that next day after tomorrow, I have a exam which is coordinate geometry. And this another guy says that I go to a different school and I have an exam tomorrow on inorganic chemistry. So coordinate geometry is there, inorganic chemistry is there. Somebody wants to repeat the class. And the third guy says that I have some doubts in physics. Serious. Now, with the 4 children, and each one have their own priority. Imagine, with 4 people, this is the situation. And I am only telling you that this actually has happened so many times. Not every day. And then people tend to compromise. That's okay. You ask your doubts. I will be a written like that. So what happens is that in a large group where 60 people are sitting, hardly in a class, I have taught enough number of classrooms. I have more than 50,000 hours of teaching experience in so many places. Believe me, with 50,000 hours of teaching experience, I've seen enough. Now, in a class where there are 30, 40 guys sitting, Only 2, 3 guys will be interested, and then others they stop paying attention. That is a procrastinating. They will say that, okay, now I don't understand, I will not disturb the class or whatever, I will see it later. Or I will ask someone else, or somebody may have a personal tuition again. Another, like coaching is also there, and again personal tuition is also there, and then I'll ask there, and like that they get alienated. That is one. The second is that in a class when there are 30, 60 people sitting, then what is happening, the spectrum is very wide. I have tried even that I pick up the slowest guy and then keep on repeating, and then the whole class is bored because that guy just doesn't understand. How many times you want to repeat? Because that's a very slow. The spectrum, like a bell curve or Gaussian distribution, as you call, it is very wide. The sigma is very wide, and then he just doesn't understand, and then you give up sometime. So taking care of everyone and all that, those are all what I'll say hoax promises, not possible. What happens in any school or in any coaching institute where there are 30, 40 guys sitting, these guys come as a lawyer, say that course complete ho gaya, I finished my course. And if any parent comes and goes to fight, oh, that no, I have done, it is done. I mean, it is done, and then your child doesn't do it. And also another thing I'll tell you, that the motivation level, if not IQ level, is very different. Okay. There may be some guys who are just not interested. Say that, my dad has paid money, and then, in any case, I am managing my mom since I am a kid. My mom management is the way we learn management in general, how to manage mom. So my dad has paid the fees. Hell, I mean, I don't care. Do you know that within first 2 months in class 11, when guys go to a coaching, almost 40% people alienate themselves, drop off from any attention within 2 months. Within 4 months, 60, 70% people are just not interested because these guys have taken the fees for the whole year or 6 months, whatever it be. Believe me, I have taught, so many coaching institutes have invited me. They keep inviting me, and I know I'm telling you these statistics, which they will never tell in any website. So within 4, 5 months of the beginning, 60, 70 guys have given up. They are not following the speed or whatever is going on, and then they imagine to catch up or anything. And in any case, there are many other alternatives which is good for the society. You have IZER. Now, IZERs, if you see the documentary on IZER in YouTube, IZERs were developed as an alternative to Indian Institute of Science. It is told in the documentary itself. And all that. I mean, as the IZER and the guys who started it, they refer, and we have so many of them. Now we have 6+1, because now we have one in Nagaland, which is coming up. So we have 7, if I include the Nagaland one, we have 7 IZERs. Okay, and the IZER Pune being the most, what I'll say, as we say, I am Ahmedabad, I am Bangalore is always second. So similarly, IZER Pune is number 1. That was not enough. Then we have NIZER. NIZER is only in Bhubaneswar, only one of them. And NIZER stands for National Institute of Science and Education Research, Bhubaneswar. And they have a NEST exam. There are some people. So what I'm saying is that IIT JEE is not the only exam. And then as class 11, 12 comes in, then various things settle in. That is a practicality. I mean, initially, when you're talking to a class 10 mom, I mean, class 10 mom means class 10 students mom, and they will not talk about IZER, NIZER and all that. But then what will happen? Many other alternatives, almost 10, 20 of them, they crop up as a valid alternative to have peace in the family. Believe me, this actually happens. So, okay, I will give you one example. In whole Bangalore or in whole of South India, there may not be any student, not a single, who imagines to go to, say, IIT Roorkee or NIT Rourkela. Now, NIT Rourkela is the biggest, the only NIT with ceramics. Okay, and IIT Roorkee is the oldest engineering college in India. Now, there are two things. Rourkela is the biggest of the NITs. In whole South India, no one. Like if you are talking, you take 100% sample. It is not a sample, a small sample. You talk to 100% parents where the children are in, say, class 8 or 9. No one dreams to go to NIT Rourkela or IIT Roorkee. But as soon as the IIT JEE main result comes out and the rank is given, then everybody knows which college is good and how I can get it, and with this rank, where I can make it, and this. So many. I mean, there are many. So believe me, there are more than 20 alternatives. IZER, NIZER, BITs are there. I mean, many of my students have made it to BITS Pilani. BITS Mesra also a lot of people go. I mean, these are old colleges, and then there are many alternatives. And as I told you that we have more than 100 colleges only around Bangalore. And then you have Maharashtra, every other places where you have those colleges, and all analysis starts, which is good, where the faculty is good, where they get jobs, and VIT is there, Vellore Institute of Technology. They have a separate exam. So all these come up. So people in class 8, they don't know about all this. And then all the knowledge automatically comes up. Did I answer that? No? Clear?
What difference do you bring in yourself, Professor? And why can't students just rely on YouTube videos, which are available dime a dozen these days?
Okay, so there are two parts of the answer. One is that, you see, in YouTube, I was the first person to make the video solutions of Irodov problems. I am sure you have heard about that book, Irodov. And it became a hit. I have removed them. I have them personally now, but Irodov. So now, that means the Irodov solutions fully is not available yet. So YouTube doesn't have everything. Moreover, I will give you some videos which I made and is not there in YouTube, such as a polytropic process. In physics, we have something known as a polytropic process, asked in IIT JEE more than 10 times. And there are many books which don't cover it. For example, we have Professor A.C. Verma's book. Again, his name is also Harish Chandra. I mean, this Harish Chandra name comes twice. So, sorry. Now, in Professor A.C. Verma's book, polytropic process is not covered, though it is in IIT JEE, asked more than 10 times, I said. So, I made videos on polytropic process. I have a uncanny knack to make things which are not easily available. Just now I told you about Indian contribution in science, and you got so many new things. Similarly, polytropic process. You don't, do you get thousands of videos in polytropic process in YouTube? You don't. That is one answer. Uh, so everything is not there in YouTube. Second is the learning from the YouTube is requiring a attention span and maturity. For example, if I have to learn Python, I'm just cooking up anything I want to learn, then I go to YouTube and learn because I want to learn it and I have a maturity or attention to do it. Children, they don't have this attention. So what happens is they will see it only for 3, 4, 5 minutes or 10 minutes and then start seeing other things. Like, if somebody's seeing YouTube in the laptop, then on the side, the dances start coming because they know. And then those dances are interesting. I mean, nothing wrong. Dance develops brain. I always am very positive. So dance improves brain, okay? Improves brain function. So they start seeing the dance videos and maybe their mirror neurons in the frontal part of their brain gets activated that as if they themselves are dancing. Mirror neurons' job is that when you see something happening, then you imagine you are doing it. And so they start dancing basically. Now, this is one problem that they cannot be supervised. And that is the reason I will tell you that there are many education companies who closed down. I'm not referring to Byju's, but before that, we had one very big one. And they developed a lot of training material and had agreement with some thousands of schools and had their own paid teacher who will be by computers giving the ready material. Their USP, unique sell point, was that we have a lot of good training material which we have developed ourselves, and then the students will see it. And then that company is gone. I can tell you the names and all that, but you just see the learning here. Why did that company go? The reason is the students are just not seeing it. There where the problem is. So you see learning from videos or this kind of digital material works very well in the tertiary thing. Like you have to learn economics or psychology. Very recently, our chief economic advisor, Mr. Sanyal, was referring that you can learn economics from anywhere you want. I mean, you can see the top best in the world because when you were there, it is a college, tertiary education. He was referring, and specifically, he was referring to tertiary education only. So in class 7, 8, children will just not see. Then somebody has to supervise that. That's the catch. So everything is not available in YouTube, and everything, even if whatever is there, you have to see that the child actually sees it. That motivation issue is there. So that answers everything. Moreover, lot of learning happens when you have a pressure for an exam. If a child is seeing videos, then there is no exam. There is no test. Who is actually quizzing the child that you have understood it correctly or not? So in that interaction in a school and all that. So the school exam pressures are important. That is why I talked about so many exams today. So many exams. More number of exams the child takes. And let us hypothetically assume that somebody like me who is not doing well, then the mom will take care. Na? Then mom will shout that why you didn't do well. And that standard statement every mom gives almost, that you have two hands, you have two legs and a head. And then why others can do well and you can't. Now explain to mom that why if everyone has two hands and two legs and a head, and then somebody, my friend will always do better than me, of course. So now manage mom. So we learn mom management in that. And that pressure and that shouting is important in life. Then we get it, right? We start. So if somebody is just given videos, like I'll tell you one thing, forget about all coaching institutes. You just walk down and go to a big bookshop near your home and just ask that IIT JEE preparation, do you have DVDs? You get them only for 300, 400 bucks. There are so many companies, say possibly more than 20, 30 companies, who have just DVD, like the USP or the claim is very simple, that everything is covered. Now, everything is covered or not, then you have to come to me to see what are the gaps. I'll tell you glaring examples that, hey, this is missing, that is missing. Like in the top books, what is missing, I'll tell you. But here, you pay 400, you get the videos, now. Now, it's the same problem. The child doesn't know how to interact. In physics, there are all sorts of errors people do. So just by seeing a video, how do you know that you understood it correctly or not? How that quizzing is extremely important. In one-to-one classes when I'm taking, then I will give you one quote from one guy once, saying that, sir, I mean, you have a very strange, uncanny ability. You are asking the questions exactly outside my boundary. I mean, you are almost reading my mind and catching me exactly where I am faulting. Now, that's a skill. Now, which video will do that? Not possible. And there where that interaction thing is missing. Chemistry can be close to more than 90%, 95%, which is enough. 95% of chemistry can be learned from videos. Possible. And YouTube videos only. You don't have to even take a 400 rupee DVD. Or if you are rich, ultra rich, let us assume. In that case, you take 20 DVDs from 20 different companies and give it to your child. Not needed. I mean, YouTube videos are enough. So 95. So chemistry teachers have very peacefully eliminated themselves. It is one of the greatest altruistic act the chemistry teachers have done. That, I mean, it is like I said, we are eliminating ourselves. So everything of chemistry, nothing is missing. I mean, I am not aware that what is missing. And you have books also. I mean, I generally tell my children to use around 20 PDFs, books. 20. So 20 books and videos, more than 100% is available. Somebody can prepare for International Chemistry Olympiad, where you have a lot of MSc chemistry stuff, can be done from videos in class 12 if the guy is dedicated. Physics, there is no interaction. So I don't know what percentage. I'm taking a small number, say 10, 20% of physics you may learn from videos and all that. And the remaining is interactive. You have to talk to a good physics teachers. There are many. There are thousands of good physics teachers, and then they will, take care. In math, you have to practice, and in math also a lot of tough questions come. So books will teach you the basics, and then you have to do the exercises. Often they don't do the exercises fully. And then in the books, as you do the exercises and all that, and then you'll get stuck and discuss. So it should be a cultural change when, like in maths, I'm saying. What happens? Somebody is ordered saying that, okay, no more maths classes. You have videos and you have book and only ask doubts. No maths teaching in class 11, 12. No maths teaching. Everything is covered. So the teacher will not come and shout and teach the board at all. So in chemistry, 100% chemistry teachers are not needed. Imagine I have a hypothetical institute now, then I'll not have chemistry teachers at all. Not needed. I mean, you just go and enjoy and learn yourself. In math, we'll have only doubt clearing classes. And physics, okay. I mean, you have, depending on your intelligence, you have 10, 20%. I'm talking about IIT JEE only. I mean, stick to it. And then okay, and then always ask questions, and out the boundary, shall come, let us play. And I'll ask questions and see that it is within your boundary or not, but within the course part. I'm not showing my knowledge within the course. I can give you many examples. So I'm talking within IIT JEE itself. I mean, starts with Wayne's law. I mean, Wien's law is given in class 11 chemistry book in the first chapter. And I have not met a single class 12 top guys in Bangalore who knows about Wien's law in end of class 12. Like when I go to teach in the last 3 months of class 12 IIT JEE, and I say, what is Wien's law? I've never heard of it. Okay, Wien's law has been asked 11 or 12 times in IIT JEE in physics. And in the chemistry book, in the first chapter of class 11, it is given. We have never heard about Wien's law ever. Really? I mean, you guys, I mean, your parents have paid the fees in the top institutes. Now, which DVD will talk like this? No, we don't have any artificial intelligence on DVD. You go to any artificial intelligence and ask that which are the questions which generally people are unable to solve. What answer are you going to get? So there where experienced teacher comes.
Okay, Professor.
I missed a lot of things. Sorry. Say it.
No, I think you covered it pretty comprehensively.
I didn't answer one of your questions at the beginning, and I kept it there. You had asked me that why I call myself as the second unofficial national coordinator of physics Olympiad, and I never answered that. I am observing enough that what are the things I missed. See, when I came to know about physics Olympiad, which was from a magazine and a student of mine had seen it, that guy today is the global delivery head in one of the very big software company, multinational in America. He's based in New York. Anyway, that guy was a very smart kid, and I taught him since class 7. He was a very average student. His rank was 12 or 13 in the class. And then he started improving his rank, and his friends didn't believe his performance. Said that, in Hindi, they said that ye kahan se kahar barpane laga. Kahar barpana is advanced Hindi, in which that, where this guy is creating an havoc. I mean, where this guy comes in from. So anyway, now the havoc is that is the global delivery head doing well. Okay. So he had read about physics Olympiad in some magazine, which I didn't read. And then he told me that so there is something known as an international physics Olympiad. Okay. I then wrote letters to a lot of universities and libraries. In those days, no internet and email. So I went to the library, and from there I got the address of these organizations and wrote letters actually. And the international letters are quite costly. So spend a lot of money, and then I talked to a lot of people. I mean, talk to a lot of people means call them on phone. Very costly thing. Again, spend a lot of money in writing letters in India and outside, and said that why cannot India start participating in physics Olympiad? And I was coming from a very strong corporate background, and the dynamism in which we teach and work. Sorry. So what happens is it is not generally. I mean, the other scientists are busy in their science work or research. I mean, they are not actually managers and that kind of. What I mean. So I worked at that corporate dynamism, if I'm calling it. Okay. And then I was a life member of IAPT since early 90s. And then I put up a appeal in IAPT magazine. There is a monthly magazine in IAPT saying that, of course, these all are professors of physics, that, if anyone knows about International Physics Olympiad, and why are we not working, and why is not India participating? I mean, this is all my hard work. Then one gentleman, his name is Professor Srinivasan, and he's from American College, Madurai, sent me a very big bunch of things. And he said that I was working for Indian participant on Physics Olympiad. Nobody cares, nobody is interested, nobody is doing that hard work. And as I see, you are a young guy, and I may soon, as I'm old, I may not be there, and I am giving the full thing to you because I can't work on it anymore. We will get American College once again in the discussion. We will just refer to that, okay? And the discussion on Harish Chandra also is pending. There are two things I have to tell you about Harish Chandra. So the Harish Chandra name comes twice, and American College Madurai comes twice. So here, this Professor Srinivasan from American College gave me the task that you take it forward. So obviously, Professor Srinivasan was the first unofficial national coordinator because he walked before me. He gave me the full bunch. I saw the bunch, and then that was the correspondence with various other national coordinators of other countries because they were already participating. Then I took it up, and then I wrote to many people, exchanged books, and then got the previous question papers because India is not participating, but they are already participating. So I got their past question papers from Germany, Switzerland, so many places, even Latvia. And then started spreading it out. Again, I'm spending my own money in spreading it out, photocopy, this, that. And then, we don't know what leads to what. Ultimately, some scientists in BARC and Hobby Baba Center and all that, they decides that, okay, I mean, if so many people are talking about it, then I met some people. Like there was one very senior scientist, his name was Mr. Khan. He is Muslim, and he was a very senior person, and he walked a lot. And then, then we all joined in, and like that. Then after that, the first official national coordinator was Dr. Arvind Kumar. He took over, and I am in Jamshedpur, and I'm busy with my corporate work, so somebody has to take over. So he was the director of Homi Baba Center, Arvind Kumar, and he became the first official one. Like that, it worked. So this is the way it goes. Okay. Just to catch up on the, is it complete now? So you have understood how unofficial thing you had asked me. The first question was that. Regarding Harish Chandra, a lot of people don't know. If we talk about, say, Indian mathematicians, famous ones, and also that Indian contribution to science, including maths in science, let us be polite enough that maths is also part of science. Then Harish Chandra is one of the greatest mathematician, the only Indian mathematician who was nominated for Fields Medal in maths. A Fields Medal is the highest math award that you know. So Harish Chandra was nominated, and there was in the Fields Medal committee, there was one guy, a mathematician again, and he felt that Harish Chandra is soft towards Bourbaki movement. Now, Bourbaki movement was a cleaning movement in pure science, in pure maths, that to remove certain infinities and all that, and there are certain purifying the maths, and that is known as a Bourbaki movement. It started in France, and one of the committee members of this Fields Medal felt that Harish Chandra is soft towards Bourbaki movement, as if that is a big what I'll say, crime. And then he was not given Fields Medal. Why? But I think Professor Harish Chandra has the highest number of new theorems in his name as an Indian mathematician. Okay, he's one of the greatest mathematician. And that is why after his name, we have this Allahabad Institute, that is Harish Chandra Research Institute, Allahabad, and where Ashok Sen was a professor. So Harish Chandra's name, a lot of people don't know, of course, is a largest number of mathematics theorems which professor has, and then only person was nominated in Fields Medal. By the way, there are other two people who has got Fields Medal in maths. They are Indian origin guys, but they are not Indians. Huh? No Indian has got a Fields Medal till now. So the other two gentlemen are from America, okay, but Indian origin, that's fair. There is another one that, so Harish Chandra name came twice because we have A.C. Verma, Professor A.C. Verma's book. His name is Harish Chandra Verma. And here we have Harish Chandra, okay. And in American college, why it comes twice? I told you already about Dr. Srinivasan. If you see our Nobel laureate, our Venki, like Venkata Krishnan Ramakrishnan, he wanted to study physics. He didn't get into IIT. If you check in the internet on criticisms of IIT JEE, then one of the most prominent is that Venkataraman didn't get in IIT JEE, and also did not get admission for physics in American College Madurai. So he shifted to Baroda and did physics, BSc physics, and ultimately got Nobel Prize in chemistry, and is one of the top Nobel laureates and scientists, Indian, of course. And then he went to that Shivaji Rao University or something in Baroda. He went to Maharaja Sayaji Rao, not Shivaji Rao, sorry, Maharaja Sayaji Rao University, Baroda. So this American college comes twice, did not give admission to Venkataraman. This is very strange. Anyway, so he went to Baroda, and then since then he did his research in Gujarat, though he's a South Indian, Tamilian. We see certain other very famous things which has happened in the course. Like you had asked me that how things have changed since the 90s. You said that since 90s because you appeared for IIT in 90s. So you asked since 90s you asked. In 2007, we have Professor Goleman who introduced EQ. And a lot of people feel that EQ is more important than IQ. We didn't talk about EQ at all. So I meet parents in Bangalore where some of them, not all, they talk about EQ. That you are talking about IIT JEE, analytical skills, this, that. How do you improve EQ? Because EQ is more important. Now, how EQ became more important in my childhood or your childhood, we have never heard about EQ. Professor Goleman introduced EQ and did sell EQ or explain EQ as more important. And thus he became the HR director in Google and pointed out the errors in their recruitment and made a lot of changes in the people who are taken in Google. As he was the vice president HR, Professor Goleman. So EQ has come in since 2007. 2007 is very famous approximately for EQ and YouTube. These are the two things which came in 2007. So I didn't tell you about that. And another thing you asked that as children come, imagine like maybe you are talking about your daughter or someone like your friend's children. So what is the teaching methodology I use? I mean, I never answered that. I only answered your questions, but now I clearly answer. Recently, around 4 or 5 years back, around 85 scientists were interviewed. And the question is very simple, and that was from edge.org. And I have the PDF, otherwise you have the website also. If you go to edge.org, I can give you the website or I can give you the PDF because that website I saved as PDF, which is valid. Like any public website can be saved as a PDF because sometimes that edge.org is down, but I need that, so I saved the PDF. The question was very simple, very polite, and what you asked me and they were asked the same thing. That what, as a parent, what we should be teaching the children, according to you, because you are a prominent scientist, 85 of them, and then according to you, like you are so good scientist, famous in the world, we have so many scientists. But what is your view that what the children should be taught? It is not about a burden or a cultural backlash that this is the way it is going on, and I consider IQ measurement that if they can solve the clock problem or not. I mean, that's no. But then okay, the scientists didn't talk about clock problems, nor they talked about EQ. Every scientist gave their own views that what the children must know. And this particular is a very scientific approach because the top scientists are being asked about their opinion, and top scientists are top scientists. So we have to respect their opinion. And what? So this question comes up in some of the parents asking me that what should we teach the children and what should be the approach? You also ask the same thing. What should be they taught and how should they be taught? The answer is that this document is the, you know, um, what I'll say, framework for teaching the children. And the first interview is by it starts with anyway. I mean, there are many things. You see the. I mean, I let it keep it as a suspense and a surprise that what they have said. I can give you the PDF which people can download, or you can go to the website also. And see what the scientists are suggesting. See, thanks to you that you have given me so much importance that what is my views that I'm teaching for 35 years and how the children should be taught. But then this supersedes. If 85 scientists are saying something, what I did, how I learned was important that many of these scientists have written books. Not 100%, but many of them have written. And not all the books are available. But again, 90% of the books were available. I downloaded them. And read them. I mean, apart from all that, what I read. So these are top-notch scientists and got these books, read these books, and that improves my knowledge. You see, it is not about what I did in class 9, but how I have improved over a period of time, over a long period of time. So I have been a studious kind of a guy. My English was very horrible in that vernacular medium those days, and I have changed a lot. So I'm just checking in case I missed something very randomly. I'm checking in case you have some questions to shoot. One thing, yeah, as I write, lot of people talk about, it is a very cliche to talk about only IIT JEE. And then, there is a guy named Vinod Dham, and he is known as father of Pentium. I mean, at least this Vinod Dham's name, many people will know, and father of Pentium. Back in 92, I think, 1992 or something, he started the Pentium first chip. He was the head. Vinod Dham is not from IIT. He is from Delhi College of Engineering. And again, contribution to science, Vinod Dham being father of Pentium should be also. And I wrote to VVM, VVM, that Vinod Dham's name also should be introduced. Father of Pentium, and you don't care about it, only talk about zero. So another name, this is a controversial and a surprise, which I thought that I'll keep it at the last. This physics Olympiad has been very tough. So we have the Twitter CEO, Parag Agarwal, who was fired by mad Elon Musk. Elon Musk is mad. No problem telling it publicly. And even the whole team's the final settlement was not given, and then they went to the court and then not got their money yet. So Parag Agarwal. Now Parag Agarwal got a gold in 2004 in physics Olympiad. And also he got 77 rank, but then he was among the top 35 guys in the Homi Baba camp. And he is the only guy who is famous, not for physics, but if you ask me a strange question that what happens, those guys who are representing India in maths or physics, or those who come in the top 10 in IIT JEE, then what are they? Are they famous? So Parag Agarwal is the only guy who is famous after physics Olympiad. Otherwise, you have the Google CEO, Sundar Pichai, and his rank was around 1700 something. And this is a dilemma that you have so many professors in America who has got Nobel Prize in physics or chemistry, whatever. Not a single IIT professor has got Nobel Prize. Okay. And also, if there is a very open question, now I wanted to keep the surprises and controversies at the end. This is not a controversy. I mean, the question is very simple, that apart from Sundar Pichai, I mean, because he's a Google CEO and he gets $1 million a day for working day. For every working day, he gets $1 million. So apart from Sundar Pichai, tell me the famous IITians in all times. Okay, so more tougher question is that tell me the names of the seniors of Sundar Pichai, or if his rank was 1700 something, then all the guys who had better ranks than Sundar Pichai, are they famous? And answer is no. There was one guy from Delhi, IIT Delhi, and then he did some scam, some Kapoor. And he was in jail for 3-4 years. He was a banker. So he was from IIT Delhi. The answer I'll tell you, and not a single IITian is famous for technical reasons. Sundar Pichai was head of this operating system that we use in our phones, Android. But that is. But otherwise, we don't have any physics Nobel Prize, chemistry Nobel Prize, or some technical terms. Android head is fine. While if we see the I do this experiment with the children, that you tell me randomly 20 computer science terms, C, C++. You said C. In my past life, I worked with C a lot, even embedded C. But that's okay. Those are in past life. So not in this life. So C, C++, Java, Python. I mean, you can get 20, 30 terms. In Java itself, you have more than 50 terms. I mean, Java server faces like that. I mean, so many things. I mean, in Java related, so many related technologies. Not a single from India. Not a single from India. So for technical reasons, we don't have any IITian or anyone. That is only one comes, that is Vinod Dham. Vinod Dham is father of NTM, Delhi College of Engineering. And otherwise, you have, I told you, Dobbala Raj Reddy, Turin Award, highest award in computer science, as a professor in Carnegie Mellon. He was a professor in Carnegie Mellon. He's a civil engineer. And okay, I mean, if you consider these two people, and again, Dobbala Raj Reddy's name no one knows, and Parag Agarwal's name people know because he was fired by, I mean, not because he got a gold medal in physics Olympiad. So these are the things I had taken a note of. One random thing here, a lot of people feel that what are the subjects which. So this physics and maths discussion comes twice. One, our Venkatraman, Nobel laureate Venkatraman, he studied physics in Baroda. And Satyendranath Bose, I mean, he taught in class 10, 12, BSc everywhere. But he studied MSc Maths from Presidency College. He never studied physics. I mean, our greatest physicist, Satyendranath Bose. In the introduction, you said one small controversial thing, in that it is not clear that Marconi or J.C. Bose, who developed the antenna and the radio communication, it is almost 25 years back. We had this IEEE, Institute of Electronics and Electrical Engineers. Sorry, Electrical and Electronics Engineers. Electrical is first. Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, IEEE. There was a Indian scientist, Bengali actually, and he was a very senior IEEE member, and wrote to IEEE with all the details. And 25 years back, there was a note from IEEE saying that it is conclusively agreed and we officially recognize that J.C. Bose was the pioneer, and Marconi followed that. That is 25 years old, but it seems that you didn't know about it. That is why if you go back to this video as you're recording it and you see it yourself, you will see that you talked about it. It is not known. It is already solved. It is already solved. So here you are.
Okay, thanks for that, Professor. So
If I
one
miss
final
something,
question.
yeah.
Now,
Sure.
just one final question, which we'd love to know. So please tell us something about your personal life. What are your hobbies? How do you keep yourself healthy and active? What small things delight you, and what makes you upset?
Okay. So I exercise and walk a lot. I don't eat dinner because there is a subject known as senolytics. And there are, if you just go to the internet and you will see the gurus of senolytics. They are recommending not to eat dinner, and then a lot of people. Senolytics is the subject of reversing age. So I am following those things. So my hobby is to see a lot of videos and learn. I search a lot. Most people don't search. So if you see that I talk about searching, downloading books, seeing videos, even following Senolytics videos, so obviously, so you know that I see a lot of things from YouTube and learn for free. So my hobbies are, also I'll tell you another, very recently, only 2-3 weeks back, something has been published that just by taking potassium citrate, citric acid is in lemons, so potassium citrate increases our lifespan by 25 years. Like more potassium, more your lifespan increases. I mean, forget about every other thing. Only a single thing, if somebody asks that, you have only single choice. So most people don't search, nor they act. Okay. So I have followed the subject senolytics for last 5 years, and I am following the rules, and kind of trying to reverse my age or stop my aging, which I think I'm successfully doing. Of course, I can meet with an accident. That's a different thing to say. So I told you about my hobbies. What I love, I will tell you some small incidences where, I have been teaching in many coaching institutes. So in one particular case, there was one girl student who was the topper of our school and really good. And everybody in Bangalore or India doesn't know about me. So after attending just a few classes, she was flabbergasted. And almost her father and mother came and said that we feel so sorry that we didn't know about you. I mean, I have heard this many times. I didn't know about you, and then what I miss. Like now, IIT JEE is only 3 months away, and okay. Now I was taking classes from morning 9 to 1 o'clock. Okay, because in the evening I have my own classes. So what happened was, some day, so let us assume Tuesday, something. The girl said that, can you start late? Well, no, how can I start late? My class is from 9 to 1, and this is not my coaching institute. I have been invited here to teach. How can I? No, I have my school class 12 chemistry test, not the CBSE one, but the school one. That is the final school setup, whatever you call it. I said that, what can I do? So I don't want to miss your class. I mean, what I like, I was giving. So she went to the teacher, and she was the school topper, so everybody knew. She went to the teacher and requested that, can you have the chemistry exam for me from morning 6 to 9? And then after 9, I want to quickly, and my dad will take half day leave from his office, and I'll drop her to my class. I said that, see, class is morning 6 o'clock. If I start, I have to get out at 5. Not possible. But anyway, the father said that I will take you. The teacher will be also taken in his car. And anyway, they started at 7 and finished the chemistry practicals within 2 hours, though the test is of 3 hours. And by 9:15, she is almost crying because she has missed 15 minutes of my class. By 9:15, the school was not very far from that coaching place. And by 9:15, she feels that I took the chemistry test from 7 to 9. Now, here I don't have any certificate, Prashant. If I'm referring to these incidents, then, that is the feel-good factor. That how much she loves my class. I say, hello, who is it? I mean, what is class? Who is this guy? No, so the other way around, right? So, I remember that incidents. Like that, I mean, I have maybe, if I sit down and make a list, I may tell you some 10, 15 amazing examples in which people loved my classes or cherished. So something like that. These are good things. What annoys me is this egoistic mom and rarely egoistic pop. I'll give you one example. I used to teach here. There is there is a builder named Sova here. I mean, they make houses for rich people, not like for me. Like people like me, I mean, we can't stay in the houses of Sova. So anyway, but I visit n number of Sova apartments. People love that I visit their places. So once I was teaching in some floor, and then I had 4 students. In those days, I used to teach a group of 4 with that complicated problem, which I already told you. All 4 want different things. Anyway, they said that we have another class 12 student, stays in the opposite apartment, but she's not joining you because her mother is a PhD in physics, and Pop had a single-digit rank in IIT. I mean, they knew that. Anyway, and then one day, coincidentally, I met his Pop in the lift, and he said that, hi, I got a rank of 8 in IITJ. Okay, nice. So what is happening? Father had single digit rank and mom is PhD in physics. No question of joining my classes. One day I'm teaching and I'm teaching for a long time. So one day she comes in while I'm teaching. Only that time she comes, that lady from the opposite apartment. They are close neighbors, obviously. So, and then comments saying that whatever you teach, I can understand. Well, obviously, whatever I'm teaching, you will obviously understand. And that girl didn't have any good results. I mean, in a sense that. So, this doesn't ensure just because the father had a very good IITJ rank and mom is. I have seen a PhD in chemistry mom, I call them as PhD in physics mom, PhD in math mom also. Yes, she is the chief technology officer in Philips. And she said, I am a PhD in maths. Okay, I recall. So I have seen all them. Okay, this doesn't mean anything. This doesn't mean anything. Actually, somebody has to go through those clock problems, and I can tell you n number of other problems, very simple ones, which I could solve in class 7. That is the qualification. It is not that, what I know today and then I show off my knowledge. Surely not. So what offs me is that when people talk about random things. So one day I was in Whitefield. There is a very rich people's place known as Whitefield. And there one guy, without any reason, commented, was talking about her daughter. He's in class 12 when I was in a dilemma that, no point in starting with in class 12 with me. So he said that, but physics is easy. I mean, I know everything of physics. I mean, I generally don't brass people in the opposite side, as you know, like to brass a cat in the opposite side. I generally don't do it. Okay. I said, you all know everything of physics. I mean, nice to hear that. I mean, what does that mean? I asked. I mean, everything. I mean, I don't know nothing. I mean, I hardly know anything in physics. So what is it about? I mean, what is there in class 12? And I said that, okay, I mean, do you know about Madala bosons? I don't know why I picked up that. I mean, I mean, when I want to brush someone in the opposite side. I mean, see, I am a life member of IPA, IAPT, and these are the highest physics organizations in the city, in the country. And I mean, I am no one, but I know everything of physics, and I mean, these kind of statements are unwarranted. And then he said that what is Madala boson? I mean, I generally, if I'm talking to people, then I keep my level generally at class 8 level. So what offs me is, I will tell you a last joke possibly. I told you that the centuries, that is 1700, 1800, 1900, these were not leap years. Because the rule is that if a century is a leap year, only if it is divisible by 400, not by 4. Okay. So I meet a lot of people, and believe me, I meet much richer people than me because they give me money. So, you know, so rich people's children is whom I meet. And one of the very polite questions is 1700 divisible by 4? And before that, I trick it, like, bias them. I tell that, do you know that 17 is a prime number? And 17 being a prime number is 1700 divisible by 4. And will you believe that in Bangalore, I get this once in 30, 1 in 30 people will be giving the right answer. Often the answer is no. 1700 is not divisible by 4. Believe me on this. Then I designed a very advanced joke because it is a, you know, silicon plateau of India. Okay. You don't know what. So here, the joke was that I search that in which parts, Bangalore is very huge. The radius itself will be almost 40 kilometers from the center of the city. And you can choose the center of city of your own. So 40-kilometer radius is huge. So in which parts of Bangalore, 1700 is divisible by 4, and which parts it is not. I mean, I am a PhD in PJ. So poor jokes means whatever I try, I'll only make poor jokes. Advanced, nice jokes, which will actually make people very laugh very vehemently, is not possible for me. And this word vehemently and all that I didn't know in class 8, 9. Huh? So these are advanced English words. So what perturbs me is that when 1700 is not divisible by 4, but then these guys are whiz kids. They talk about math Olympiad, SOF Olympiad and all that. You can conduct the experiment yourself. So you got what I like and what I don't like. And how easily we call a guy as a whiz kid and all that, and then appreciation of science. You got the point. Last thing I said that, I am celebrating end of certain exams. I said that KVPY exam was discontinued, which I feel very sorry of. I told you in this talk, if you remember, and which are the exams which are finished. So I predicted that Math Olympiad, I mean, International Math Olympiad, the official one, will get discontinued after physics starts, because I started the physics Olympiad kind of. You see what I did for physics Olympiad. So physics and chemistry Olympiad matches with IIT JEE physics and chemistry, and that becomes easier for them. But in Math Olympiad, there are a lot of extra things, just number theory, very tough geometry problems. We don't need them anywhere in engineering at all. I mean, today you need what geometry do you need? I mean, you have to be good in C or say C++ or whatever else technologies you are. So those are unnecessarily tough and too tough. So my predicted that Math Olympiad will vanish. And I'm very happy that Math Olympiad has vanished. So there are two things I'll tell you. One, many years ago, once India came 37 in Math Olympiad and nobody was crying. In India, nobody cares. So I saw one article from Iran that somebody wrote and said that how come Indians came 37 in Math Olympiad? I mean, how come such a, generally we are 7th, 8th, if you see. The best performing over a long period of 30 years would be Russia on average. A lot of people don't know that, but otherwise we have China, USA, Taiwan, South Korea. You see these names repeatedly. But 37. So I'll tell you one very simple thing, that if you take a walk in Gurgaon or Bangalore and imagine that you go only to those places which are around a school and the school has just ended in the evenings, 3 o'clock or 2:30, 4, whatever. And then you randomly talk to people that, are you preparing for official Math Olympiad? And the answer will be close to 0. You talk to, say, I don't know what sample, 20,000 guys. Not a single guy prepares for Math Olympiad anymore. That's one. So I am very happy about it. And second, I said that I will give a surprising fact over the period of time. And that is that what exams have ended, the physics and chemistry Olympiad also has ended. Because it is, and I'm happy about it. In this case, I'm happy about it, not feel sorry about it, I'm happy about it. The reason is it's extremely tough. In last 25 years or 26 years, from 98 till 2024, in last 26 years, from Bangalore in total, how many guys have gone to the national camp, that Homi Baba Center where I said that I was teaching this, that? How many guys have gone? You guess? 20, 30, 50? Any guess? Any? Just a wild guess again.
Well, I suppose maybe 50 to 100, I don't know.
It is 3 what I know of, not 3 per year. It is total 3. in last 26 years, only 3 guys made it to the physics camp, where I told you that Parag Agarwal got gold and all that. Parag Agarwal, not from Bangalore. Okay. And now you will understand that this is an extremely tough exam. So what I have stopped doing is, and that is what was the surprising factor, which was like, you imagine that you will talk to me about these Olympiads as it is so close to my heart. They were close to my heart and no more. The reason being very clear that it is very tough. And it is so tough that is not worth doing. Same as math Olympiad, I told you. So number theory, very tough. Number theory questions, geometry questions. I mean, many of them I miss. I mean, no shame. It's not. I mean, there is no heroism. So these people, those who have got gold and all that, they have not contributed anything as a famous. Like you have a neutral question. You tell some guys that tell me names of some 20 famous people. I mean, you have Stephen Hawkins, Jeff Bezos, everyone. I mean, generally with money, the names come, otherwise whoever. Or you will have even Ramanujam. I never named him. I'm naming him now. But then, okay, I mean, these maths, physics, Olympiad are so tough that if only, and 3 guys going to the camp, it doesn't mean that, only one guy represented India once from Bangalore. He did very well, and I know about him. Within class 11, 12, he had finished a lot of things in MSc physics, and he did gold. I think got a gold and all that long back. But then 3 guys going to the camp means only within the top 35. I mean, representing India or not beyond the point. So these exams have gone out of fashion, if I'm using that word, and I'm happy about it. Because it doesn't mean, like a lot of people very validly asks that why do I try so much? Like in math Olympiad, we are not doing well, I told you, and in physics chemistry, we are consistently 4th. Only again in 2020, no, 2022, I think, if I'm sorry for this, only first time India came first. That means all the 5 guys got gold, and officially with the marks that we get, we came first only once. Otherwise, we are generally 4th. So in out of these last 26 years, once we came first, and then I think that I should take a retirement from this. That is why I now, concentrate on so many exams. Chemistry exam, we have ANCQ from Australia, chemistry organization. ANCQ is Australian National Chemistry Quiz, ANCQ. Similarly, I have a list of exams, like I told you, APHO. APHO, I'm sorry. This AoPS, there is an exam known as Art of Problem Solving, AoPS. It's an American math exam, AoPS. So I tell that, better prepare for this. This helps you to get admission in various universities. And these questions are also reasonable, not very easy, not very tough also, but then not as tough as a physics chemistry Olympiad. And so you will be now surprised, I'm sure, that I am celebrating end of this exam. So I'm celebrating official math Olympiad, physics Olympiad, chemistry Olympiad, and I personally don't care about all this anymore. I talk about other exams. And even IIT JEE has gone down, which was very clear in this discussion. I mean, we have so many other alternatives. What's the issue?
Okay. Professor, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have been, thanks for watching. We have just had a wonderful conversation with a distinguished teacher for IIT JEE entrance exam preparations, Mr. Subhashish Chattopadhyay.
Nice talking to you, Prashant. I'm honored that you could talk to me for so long time. And thanks to all the audience, please.